Hey there and welcome to Matt's Garage. Well, I'm working on the plow car today. I have introduced this in a few shorts videos, so if you missed it on the channel, that's why. But this is kind of the new permanent plow car. The Niaru is also set up for plowing, but I just don't want to wear it out plowing. So this 2008 PT Cruiser, I got it for 250 bucks. I sold the Cadillac converter I'll get for $200. And I salvaged the front bumper and grill for my mom's convertible. They were in perfect condition. So the car really owes me nothing. I salvaged these tires for free, everything. Just bought some cheap lights off of Amazon. But I have one small issue that I'm going to correct today using these old strut mounts here. I'm going to show you how to lift a car that has struts really easily. There's actually two ways you can do it. One thing you can do is you can cut out a steel plate to fit on top of here and then take your strut out, stack that plate on there and reinstall your strut, because as you can see there's lots of stud left above the nuts when they're tight. So that's one way you could do it if you don't own a welder or if you don't have a spare set of strut plates. I save these when I replace struts for this reason, and if you have a MIG welder, you can just stack this on top of your current strut plate. So I'm going to take the struts out and put this plate right on top of the strut plate on it. Not going to disassemble it, nothing like that, just weld it together. I'll probably put some plate in here to reinforce it really good, and that'll just make the strut longer and give the car that much more clearance. You see I've got my control set up on the door and everything, and I'll just show you here. So I actually have oversized tires on there, and that's why they stick out further, and they're of course closer. So there is still lots of usable suspension travel. I have run this blade on another PT before, so I know this works. It's just because of the bigger tires, it's going to end up contacting on the fender. So I am kind of trying to do this as a how-to video for replacing your strut in your PT Cruiser. But I will go ahead and put a skip to section if you just want to learn how to put the extra strut plate on there and get your car lifted up. You can skip over all the technical stuff I'm going to show right here. But if you're replacing your strut on your PT Cruiser, it's pretty simple. You get it jacked up like I've shown here and blocked up safely. You can slide the tire under once you get it off for extra insurance. And then you want to get some penetrating oil on all these threads. So basically you just have to, on this car, get the ABS sensor clip undone here. It just, I believe, just pulls out. Oh, you can unbolt it here with the 10mm. I believe you can work it out of that clamp too. And then your ground wire, it may already be broken off, or you can just, it just slides out on that end or bolts in on that end, so take your pick. These are 21mm, these bolts here. And then there's going to be three 13mm right here under the hood, so I'll show you that in just a second. Okay, so right here are these 13mm. They may be different if your strut's been replaced before. They could be 14mm or even 15mm. And then the same thing over there on that side. And some of the older cars with cruise control, they will have some stuff over there. You may have to unbolt a bracket and move aside some components if that's the case. On these newer cars, I believe the cruise control is all computerized. So, and don't undo that center nut, whatever you do. That disassembles the strut and it untensions the spring, so that could be dangerous. Remember, don't take the center one out, just these three 13 millimeters. Okay, so I was able to wrestle that ABS wire out of there very easily. It looked like the bolt would break off if I took it out. If yours isn't rusty, go for it. And then these are, like I said, 21 millimeter on each side. Got my bigger impact out because they're going to be on there pretty good. This is all rusted up. And then it's nice to have a hammer and a pry bar. Hammer the bottom one out first. I'll demonstrate this. And then hammer the top one out. And then you can pry this apart and wrestle the strut out of there. So I'm going to demonstrate all that on camera now. One other little tip I'll give you is jack up both sides of the car at the same time. Because what will happen if you just jack up one side is it will tension the sway bar. And then the sway bar will end up fighting you. And now that nut's so rusty, it's stuck in my socket. So what you want to do then is hit the sides of the socket with a hammer and it will shock it. And the nut will come right out. It works even better if you've got the socket on the floor or something. But as you can see, I made it work even in the air. Okay, so now like I said, boggin bolt first. Make sure you don't hit this ABS sensor though. See, if you hit it really hard, couple swings and it will shoot right out. And now this whole thing's gonna pop out when I hammer this one through. It's so rusty that it didn't really pop, but I'll show you what should have happened. It's like that. Okay, so I'll back you up a little bit so you can watch how I wrestle this out of there. So just be careful about your ABS wire here. You could always take the sensor out. It's just a 10 millimeter bolt holding it in. But I'm just going to be careful because all these bolts are rusty and likely will break. Also be careful you don't get rough on your boot on your CV axle here. You could tear it up. So just mind all that stuff. But what you want to do is just lift it up a little bit. Get it coming out the back side here. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna take this sensor wire out of that bracket too, and then I can put it right down here out of the way. Lift that just out like that. You don't want to come out the front side because of the brake hose here. So if you just pull it out the back side, it comes out really easy. Okay, so now if we were replacing this strut, you just get a complete strut assembly would be my method. I like KYB for that, but whatever you choose. You can also buy these all in pieces and save your old spring, but you don't save a lot of money. So just get a complete assembly and save yourself the headache. And you know, it's just reverse of disassembly to reassemble it here. But what we're going to do now is add to the top of this so that we have a little bit of lift on this car for off-road plowing purposes. I will put a disclaimer here that if you're going to be doing this on a road-going car, make sure you're very confident in your welding abilities. If this is like your first welding project, just don't do it, because it could potentially be very unsafe if your welds ever let go. Okay, so I don't think I want to put that much lift on it. I actually want to weld the end of that stud to the bottom of that stud. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this bit of metal off of here with my angle grinder and cut off wheel, and then I'll get back with you. Okay, so you can see I've got that set up so that the studs line up. I had to punch the rubber out of there, the isolator out, and I just did that on my shop press. But if you don't have a press, just heat this up with a torch. That'll loosen the bond, and then you can just knock it out with a hammer. Just put a socket against it, knock it out with a hammer. So I'm not going to weld around there at all because I don't want to heat up this part on the good strut plate and ruin that rubber bond in there. So I'm going to weld those studs together, and then I've cut 3 of these 2-inch long plates for each strut. So I'll put one there, and one somewhere here, and I'll actually use an air gun to cool this as I go to make sure that I don't ruin that rubber in there. Okay guys, there you have it. I got those 3 plates in there and I weld it around the studs. It's just kind of quick and dirty. Don't forget, this is just an off-road car, so take a little more care in cleaning up your weld areas and everything. If you're working on something that's going to go down the road, make sure those welds are going to be strong. Okay, I'm ready to go back together. You can see I even put some black spray paint on there just to keep it from rusting, but I like to hang it in the car from the top first and then deal with the bog. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stab it up in there, put the top 3 nuts on just loosely actually, so that it has a little play down here, and then I'll get this all joined up and then I'll tighten everything up. Okay, now for the bolts, you put the bottom one in first. Now if you have to wrestle around a little, one thing you can do is put a punch or a screwdriver through the hole, through the upper hole, and persuade it around that way. There we go. One in. And then the top one's normally sprung out a little bit, so you just have to press in like that on the whole unit, and it will just line up. And then what you do is get your big hammer, and the same thing, you really smack it good from that side. And the reason you do that is they actually have a spline that locks them from turning. Now one thing you might run into is some cars have a cam bolt in here, and an aftermarket adjustment so that you can set the camber adjustment. So if you have smaller size bolts with a cam on the back side of them, and when you rotate that cam, it'll move this in or out and change the up and down angle of the wheel. So I don't have that going on here, so it's fairly straightforward. And even though it's splined, I do like to hold the back side with a wrench, because sometimes they'll strip out if you don't. So if you're using an impact, kind of stay on it for a second and watch the metal halves suck together, and you can kind of hear the sound change when it all boggins out. Or I'll try to caption up the torque spec. Now I just got to make sure my ABS wire here is back in these little clips. Now I have seen some lift kits that they include some brackets to go on this end and extend this end of the strut. One advantage to that is it raises up the spring perch here, so you can run larger tires, but the major disadvantage is it just puts undue strain on the bottom of this strut, and it becomes a weak point. The strut wasn't designed to have all that extra leverage on its bottom bracket. It's a lot stronger on the upper part of it and has a lot less leverage on it, so I like to lift from the top of the strut rather than the bottom of the strut. So now I'll go up top and finish torquing up those bolts there, then put the wheel on, torque it up to around 100 foot-pounds, and we're good to go. I wish I had thought to measure the height to the fender lip before, but I didn't. But you can see that's actually quite dramatic. Because the strut's quite a bit back from the end of the control arm, so it's exaggerated out. You get more lift than what you've added at the strut, if you know what I'm saying. Okay guys, I got both sides done, and I just have a wooden block under that tire because there's actually a step up in the floor, so that is just to make everything equal and level. So you can see how dramatic the difference is. I wish I had taken a measurement, but I would say it's at least 1.5 inches, probably closer to 2 inches of lift. So that's with no pressure on the blade right now. Okay, so you can see where we're at from where we were at. We were about right there right before, and now we're right there. So there's no chance that we're gonna touch that fender now. I'll jump on the blade a little. You can see we definitely would have before. So thanks a lot for watching Matt's Garage. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourself a great day.